Hey, listeners, good morning. We're here again on a Thursday morning. Belated Happy Valentine's Day and Vasant Panchami to all the community members out there. So, welcome to yet another episode of our LinkedIn talk show series, Productivity League, hosted by We360.ai. And as we always say at every episode, productivity is an ever growing habit. And each day we learn and implement the learnings to be at least 0.1% better every new day. And our mission is very clear at Productivity League. It is to build a dynamic and a constructive learning community around this vital topic, productivity. So the objective is that we all grow together with the collective knowledge and experiences of our entire community. Good morning, dear friends. I'm Kunal Sinha, your host, and today we're diving deep into a very interesting and a very unique kind of topic where we are going to explore performance management and how to set the goals and evaluate employee success. So now we all know that performance management is one of the most important elements in the success of any organization in today's competitive business environment. And if you're able to drive high productive performance for your team with a positive workplace culture, then your road to success as an organization or as a brand is a smooth and clear. But the main question comes in, how do the organizations achieve that? And how can you do the same in your team or your organization is what we're going to discuss today. And today, I have some amazing guests with us who bring a wealth of experience around building and managing teams across different industries. So, not taking much time, let me quickly introduce you to the amazing speakers for today's event. In this episode, I'm privileged to host four amazing people: Shilpi, Satyam, Bhavesh, and Shilpa. I'll quickly introduce all the speakers and then I'll hand over the mic to them for taking us through their journey and detailed introduction. So, to start with the first guest, Shilpi. So, she's an HR catalyst with a passion for building a purposeful work culture, and she's currently serving as a head of people and culture at I Dream Career. A second speaker, Satyam, is a certified human resource business partner and is currently serving as an HR manager at Cloud Rock Partners. Our next speaker, Bhavesh, is a global HR leader and a startup advisor. He currently serves as a head of talent acquisition and education initiatives at Aspire for Her. And our last speaker, Shilpa, she is a well known, prominent LinkedIn top global talent acquisition voice and is currently serving as a human resources manager at Binary Data Private Limited. So, welcome all the amazing guests to our today's event. We're really privileged to have all of you in our show today. It'll be amazing to actually have your insights with all the experience that you bring in on the table, and I should say on the mic in today's talk show. So, before getting into the details and going to each speaker, let me quickly explain the structure of today's event to everyone out there. So, I would like all the speakers to take out 2 to 3 minutes and take us through their journey and their experience in building the teams and like how they have been so far in their journey, in their professional journey. And then we can get into some specific questions that we have received from our listeners and community members. So I have separate questions for all of you tailored to your specific experience and exposure. And I would like to understand from all the speakers like how the same challenges have solutions addressed differently to different teams and industries, and how you have catered to the different challenges at your teams. So, Shilpi, the mic is all yours. You can start taking us through your journey.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Kunal. And hello and good morning, everyone. It has been an amazing 16 plus years of, my career journey in different industries across different domains in HR. Right. And currently, I am head of people and culture in iDream Career, which is an edutech product company. So my overall journey has been amazing. I started off as a recruiter, hiring for a few amazing companies and established companies like Shell during the start of my career, and thereon grew into an HR VP. And then in the last 6 to 7 years, I have helped startups in helping them co-create policies, processes, and you know, uh, making a culture which is high performing, where we measure happiness very closely. So yeah, that has been my journey till now.
Wonderful, Shilpi. It'll be amazing to have you on the show and like listen to your experiences. It'll be really wonderful. Satyam, over to you. If we can actually get to know something about your journey and about yourself.
Sure, Kunal, and thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So yeah, it has been an incredible journey. So it started in 2013. So it has been almost 11 years I'm into this field of HR. And yeah, I started my career as a technical recruiter, and then eventually I get into core HR. And yeah, I'm currently working with CloudRock partners, which are currently working on the cloud-based technologies. To name few is like Workday, Oracle, SAP. And yeah, I'm currently based out in Mumbai. And there has been lots of like I've been working on performance management and not limited to any other functionalities, but yes, there are many other functionalities which I'm working upon, and there are lots of challenges, and I'm love to share those over the call today. And thank you, 360 that for giving this opportunity, and would be sharing my experience as well over the call. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, Satyam. It's great to know about your journey, and I'm pretty sure that people will definitely love to hear about your experience in terms of the questions that we'll be going through in the show.
Sure.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Bhavesh, to you. Looking forward to hear something about your journey and yourself.
Hey, thank you, Kunal, and good morning to all of you. I might sound a little groggy. I'm sorry for that. I just have a very, very cold throat, so you'll have to excuse me for that. But as I was saying, thank you, Kunal. Thanks, Lokesh, and thank you, We360.ai. I think this is a wonderful platform, and I've kind of looked at some of the work that you've been doing. Phenomenal work, and keep going. Well, coming back to my experience, I've spent about 2 decades in the corporate world, and I've worked with some marquee names. So I started my career with GE, then moved to IBM, then had a small stint with Capgemini, Jana Bank, Wipro, CGI, Indegene. So a lot of organizations that I've worked with, some very, very marquee names, and very contradictory to the fact that HRs are largely looked at people who kind of are more stable in organizations. I have kind of moved around quite a lot, as you could see, from a career of 20 years. After doing 20 years of transformation, leadership, hiring, recruitment, talent management, and all of that, I kind of wanted to take a pivot and do something more engaging, something more meaningful, something in the startup space. So for the past 7 months, I've taken over responsibilities which are largely advising three startups that I work with, and also working full time with Aspire for Her, which is in the diversity led space. So our vision and mission is to get 1 million women in the workforce. So a lot of good stuff happening, and I'd like to kind of use this forum to share my experiences of working with some of the large companies, some of the organizations which started from scratch, and the last being some of the new age startups that I'm already working with. So thank you so much, and look forward to hearing from my co-panelists as well.
Wonderful, Bhavesh. I'm like, it'll definitely be fun to listen to your experiences, and the kind of initiative that your current company is working upon is definitely the need of the hour. So I'll definitely love to hear your experiences around the questions that we have. And in terms of the cold throat and the cold, so don't worry, I am your partner. I am going through the same situation right now. So everyone has to bear with me as well. So fine. So coming to our last speaker, Shilpa, over to you. Would definitely love to hear your experiences and how you have achieved all the feat that you have today.
Thank you so much, Kunal, for this opportunity to introduce here as a HR. Actually, I don't have that much experience, but yes, I have 5 years of experience, and my journey in HR began with a focus on recruitment, basically, where I passionately resource top talent for mostly my current company, like Bind Data Private Limited. Over time, I transitioned through various HR roles like managing employees' relations, performance appraisals, and training initiatives as well. As I advanced, I assumed the role of HR manager, implementing innovative strategies to foster a positive work culture and drive organizational success. That is my main aim, you can say. And yes, this journey is a very fruitful to me till now, as I have only 5 years of experience. But yes, I enjoyed a lot. And yes, thank you so much, V360.ai, to introduce me here as an HR and providing me the opportunity. Thank you, Kunal.
Thanks, Shilpa. So wonderful to have all of you here. This power-packed house with so amazing experience and people with so rich and diverse experience will definitely be fun. So now what we'll do is like I'll get into the specific questions that we have received from our listeners. And definitely we all would want to understand your insights on the same. So what I'll do is just a heads up. I will keep the questions in random order to stay as unbiased as possible by not following certain priorities towards any of the speakers. at the same point of time towards the community members who have posted these questions. So, Shilpa, since you got the last chance to introduce yourself, so I would like you to start with the first question.
Sure, Kunal.
Yeah. So, I would like to start with I would like you to provide your thoughts, first of all, on the importance of aligning employee engagement goals with the overall mission and values of the organization.
Sure, Kunal. As I have said that yes, I don't have that much experience, but yes, as per my experience, the importance of setting clear, measurable goals and regularly evaluating employee success through feedback and objective metrics. This approach ensures alignment between individual objectives and organizational goals as well, leading to enhanced performance and productivity as well as. Moreover, as today's topic is performance management, that is setting goals and employee success and performing this solid platform, right? So, as per my experience, like the communication is the major role here. If we are clear in our communication, like if the employees and the management is a clear set of goals and all the thoughts there, then we will able to achieve our targets as well and our goals as well, as per my perspective.
Sure, sure. Definitely. Yeah, definitely that makes sense. Clear communication is always the most important part when it comes to performance management. Because unless and until the clear communication is not there, so the employee might not be the culprit. It might be the manager or the top management who is the culprit because of whom the performance is not coming. So very rightly said, Shilpa.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much, Kunal.
yeah. So Bhavesh, coming to you.
So thanks, Kunal, and I'll give you a classic example. So, so most importantly, what works in the favor of the organization as well as the employee is to kind of mutually discuss, mutually decide, and then arrive at a set of OKRs or key performance areas wherein they can actually work together.
Perfect, perfect. So, like, yes, so it's not just bottom up or top down approach, it's a combination of both. So, yeah, so thanks, Bhavesh, for your inputs on this specific point. Now, like, continuing the same discussion. So, Satyam, I'll come back to you. And so, while we are actually discussing about like how we can actually have clear communication, how we can create a sense of belongingness, but
Mhm.
then we all know that like it's more of like when we actually start focusing on the ground up, then we start facing any kind of challenges and actual the obstacles in
Mhm.
terms of creating and like promoting all these employee engagement procedures. So
Mhm.
can you discuss any challenges or obstacles that you have faced in promoting these employee engagement activities and how you actually overcame them?
Yes, sure, Kunal. As I like in my like in this 11 years, I've faced lots of challenges. But yes, I would like to share one notable instance. There were like I would like to share an instance of like a golden COVID era. So which was fostering a sense of connection and collaboration among the remote teams, basically. So it was basically in my previous organization. See, the remote employees are also very crucial. Okay, at any point of time, they should not be felt left out. So many organizations still they are facing these universal issues as we are currently living into the hybrid world. So coming to the promotion of remote employee engagement, we implemented like various virtual team building activities. So there are lots of activities available. So I can name the important one like a virtual learn, the simple one, so that you can do regular video meetings and some kind of communication platform to build up to ensure there has been a constant interaction. So yeah, the constant interaction is very important. So with the remote employees, so they will not feel left out. And also apart from work, there has to be a social interaction as well, which is also necessary. So additionally, we also faced some challenges maintaining engagement during the periods of organizational change. So I mean organizational change, I means the restructuring of the organization. So to overcome this, we focused on transparent communication, which was the key factor, keeping employees informed about the changes. And we also encouraged open feedback sessions to address concerns and make necessary adjustments all those situations. And also we introduced then the situation that the restructuring of organization, it creates a heightened stress. So we also introduced wellness programs, mental health support initiatives, some flexible work arrangements to help employees navigate challenges, to maintain a healthy work life balance. But yes, there has so that was my experience. But yes, there has to be a continuous reassessment and evaluation of the engagement initiatives. And yeah, this is all about I have to share here on this topic.
Yeah, thanks, Satyam. So, yes, the work culture has suddenly changed very rapidly. Oh, there has been a disruption in the last 4 5 years with post-COVID era. So, of course, it's wonderful to know the kind of corrective actions that like most of the senior HR leaders like you have been taking very aggressively. And that sounds simple, but yes, that is really something very challenging that HRs have really managed to do that very well. So, hats off to you and everyone out there in the community. So, Shilpi, coming to you, sorry for such a long wait. So, with the kind of experience and the kind of like the depth and the experience that you bring in, I wanted this particular question to like specifically say it for you, and
Okay.
that is like, what role do the managers and the leaders in an organization in promoting employee
Mhm.
engagement? And most importantly, how do you ensure their buy-in and support? Because getting managers and leaders is one of the toughest tasks for any guy, any HR leader. So how do you ensure that?
All right, very interesting question, Kunal. I think I can specifically quote two things that I've done within the current organization and many other startups that I've worked with. So, instead of only telling them, only expecting them to execute, through their teams, um, I have actually made them part of the process, right? As simple as that. So, for example, we have a buddy system, a close knit group called Culture Champions within iDream Career, and these are a group of people who are very enthusiastic about IDC, their career journey, and they are overall very positive. So in this group, I have also included few team managers, right? So what this group do is every month they meet up and they create all the engagement activities which needs to be done throughout the year, right? So I'm actually, first of all, I'm actually making them part of the process. So the buy-in is actually by default, right? And then now, secondly, we also have a lot of initiatives on upskilling and people learning from home, right? So so we work in hybrid mode, right? So we make sure that managers have at least 1 hour slot for only learnings in office within their respective teams, where they pick up a topic and they coach or they kind of enhance learning within their teams. So, I mean, these are few examples that I can quote where managers become part of the process, and then hence they are themselves engagement champions.
That's an intelligent approach, Shilpi. I mean, like, and that's something I am going to steal back down for my own team. So that's an interesting approach, and that is
Great,
something that,
great.
yeah, that is something that is right away actionable for any of the members out there who are listening to these amazing kind of insights coming from people like you. So thanks for sharing that experience. That's really an interesting thing, and that's an interesting point. My next questions will largely be focused around the distributed team, because it is more than not just actually remote teams, it is largely distributed teams, because many of the companies, some of the employees are working as remote team members, some of the employees are working as in-office team members. At the same point of time, some members are working as hybrid members, like sometimes they are in office, sometimes they are at home. So it is more importantly not just hybrid or remote teams, it is more importantly distributed teams. So when we talk about distributed teams, I'll come back to you, Bhavesh, that what strategies do you employ as HR leader to ensure remote or distributed teams feel engaged and also connected to the company culture?
And I'll give you a classic example of what happened with me during the COVID days. And I was at Wipro back then. I was given a new responsibility of taking over the campus hiring team. And the additional challenge that came my way was to transform campus journey for Wipro that we hired from campuses year on year. And when I was brought on board, the target was set to 40,000, which means I had to do 4x the number that anybody's ever done in Wipro, and that too in a setup which has not been thought through in terms of campus. So that's when I had to look at a lot of hiring in terms of internal, external hiring, and all of that. And I also realized that this is going to be a team which will be responsible for delivering 4x the number that's ever been done by any other teams. And also the fact that this is going to be a very distributed team who do not know how to partner with each other, merely because of the fact that they have not seen each other apart from the Zoom cameras, right? So just some of the aspects, and this was about a 65 member team spread across the country, and a couple of them in Singapore as well. Now, what we did to ensure, and then some of the things were very, very basic but very pertinent, was one, to ensure that at any given point in time, whenever we are doing our daily huddles or our weekly review meetings, we ensure that everybody switches on their camera. I think Indians are typically very, very reserved and shy when it comes to being virtual, and especially with switching on the camera. So we had a unspoken rule as such that everybody has to ensure that they switch on the camera, because at least in times of COVID, when you're not getting to see each other in person, there is some bit of relatedness from a face value perspective. Two, all our meetings had very, very structured thought process, with saying that we will start from the junior most person in the team talking about what he or she has done, what he or she thinks about this whole challenge, and how do we plan to kind of tackle this challenge, starting from the the bottom up approach to going up to the leadership. So all our decision making skills were very, very collaborative, which meant that it was never an instance wherein we took decisions which were in isolation, which meant every decision that the team took was in a way, not necessarily on paper, but in a way known and signed off by each of the 65 members, including the ones who are on the ground, including the ones who are very, very recent joiners in the organization, still trying to understand the values and culture. The third most important part that we ensured doing was to have some fun. I think in the whole era of trying to run behind productivity, trying to run behind matrices, I think Satyam also spoke about the whole aspect of employee wellness, and we've seen how it can work wonders if we have a nice organization culture which is coupled with some bit of wellness, some bit of fun, some bit of engagement. So we ensured that we had 1 hour dedicated every month wherein we will not talk business. All of the 65 team members will come, engage, have fun, and do some bit of team bonding. So very simple exercises, but something that has really, really worked for me in the past. And it was a large distributed network of 65 members, and we did end up hiring not just 40 but 110,000 students that particular year.
Perfect example of inclusivity. So amazing, amazing. Like commendable job, Bhavesh. Hats off to you for that. And definitely that will give a lot of learning and a lot of, I should say, armor for the other HR leaders who might be listening to our talk show. So great. So Shilpa, continuing the same questions, I'll come back to you. Is when we are talking about the distributed teams or the remote team members. So how do you balance the need for monitoring productivity first of all, and while still maintaining or fostering a culture of trust and autonomy among your team members who are working remote, or I should say as distributed team members?
Thank you so much. As per my experience, as currently also in my team, there are work from office and work from home. I'm currently also managing the remote teams. Like 20 of our members are working remotely. So balancing productivity, monitoring with trust and autonomy in a remote team involves, first of all, I think transparent communication, setting clear expectations, and leveraging appropriate tools. Establish goals collaboratively, allowing flexible working hours as I have provided to my teams, and focusing on outcomes rather than micromanaging process. Because I think micromanaging is not a good thing. Additionally, as I have just included, using productivity tracking tools transparently and emphasizing their purpose of improvement rather than surveillance can help strike a balance. As currently I am also managing my remote team, work from office team, so there are multiple software as I am using, but these are in-house softwares. So the tracking of the employees, their performance, their achievement, their whatever whenever they need me, like the communication, I'm always there to help them. Like in the remote as well, the work from office, I'm working as an office, so I just manage both the teams as of now, and I think these are the good steps that I have just included as of now.
Yep. Yeah, definitely makes sense. Of course, we in the modern tech world, we actually have to do a good combination of the process strategies with the right tech stack as well. So, talking about the same point, so Shilpi, I'll come back to you on this and like talking about the same question and share. I want to understand something about your experience in managing these remote or distributed teams. What strategies or tools specifically you have found most effective in maintaining productivity and collaboration for a remote or a distributed team?
Sure. I think what I believe is that there are lot of good tools nowadays, which can help HR actually leverage them effectively to, engage employees, as well as when it comes to remote teams. Specifically, these tools really help. So I can actually give one example that the tool that we are currently using is Engage With by Springworks. So it's a wonderful tool which helps you give kudos and praises to each other, while also including values, what values in action you had seen. So we have our town hall meeting every month, where we actually use this tool specifically at that time, where people start giving praises to each other. And for example, one of our main value is student success as focus, because we are a career guidance firm, right? And so during that time, people will quote real examples of what they have seen on ground, people doing, teams doing, to ensure student success, right? How we are actually relating it to the values. And though they are remote, though they are in Chennai and we are a Delhi based company, doesn't matter, right? You can actually do that and be there for each other. Now, secondly, we also, do lot of one-on-one. So I personally do it every quarter. So I meet everyone, whether virtual or in office, making sure that I am monitoring those sentiments regularly, right? So if the remote teams are feeling disengaged, what are the reasons, right? And there is a proper action planning that I do to ensure that once post every quarterly meetup, we make sure that whatever issues they have are resolved, and they are engaged. So I mean, these are two very specific examples that I can think of at the back of my mind right now. But yeah, lot of other things that you can do with different tools that are available nowadays.
Yep. So keeping the team engaged and keeping like their motivation high, of course, especially for the distributed teams, has been the priority for you. So, Satyam, when we talk about all of these distributed teams and so far whatever strategies we have been talking about, I would want to actually share your personal experiences. If you have actually seen such an instance where the employee-led initiatives or the goals significantly impacted overall workplace engagement as well as the culture for that specific organization.
Yes, sure, Kunal. So yes, I can remember one important instance and very important instance. So it was basically a group of motivated team members, employees, again in my previous organization. So they took some initiatives. They basically designed and implemented a mentorship program. So this mentorship program basically it was designed to match the experienced employees with those seeking guidance and support in their career paths. So yeah, so definitely there were the mentors who provided insights, shared their experiences, and obviously they offered advice on professional development as well. But as a result of these initiatives, there were several positive outcomes that were observed. So firstly, I can name we had increased job satisfaction among the groups, and yes, there was definitely a sense of belonging within the organization.
Anecdotes to share where like how employee engagement initiatives have positively impacted your organization.
Sure, thanks, Kunal. So the first example that I told you about was a classic example of what employee engagement could do in terms of success. And every time when we started talking to our employees in our one-to-one connects to try and understand what is it that's keeping them very happy, they all came out very clearly stating what they feel at home. They feel at ease. They feel the fact that they're talking to the management of the organization or the respective leadership or the delivery managers. They feel included in everything that they do. So I think sometimes it's very, very important, and proven strategies of ensuring that you bring them together, foster the sense of belongingness, and actually walk the path, not just as an organization's head, but also as a leader who wants to walk the path together.
This is an amazing example, Bhavesh. So just curious to know, like when the team used to vote anonymously, were there certain defined metrics on the basis of which they used to define, or is based on their understanding of whatever, because they have been closely working with all the people.
It was all very, very open. So we didn't want any of the corporate nuances to come into picture. See, the moment you try and limit any kind of rewards and recognition with respect to numbers, things take a different twist, right? So here in this case, our understanding of this reward and the fact that it was just a mere trophy and not necessarily a monetary award, we just said that, you know what, think of different values of the organization. Now the organization had 7 set of values. We said every time you anonymously vote for one of your colleagues, you need to go through the values and then try to see who amongst your colleagues, I mean, obviously you can't vote for yourself, but who amongst your colleagues kind of lives by those values. Now, some of the values are not driven by matrices, some of the values are more behavioral based. So we wanted to reward people, or at least give that trophy out to people, not just who are the best performers in the team with respect to the OKRs, matrices, and numbers and all of that, but we also wanted to reward people who actually work like a team, who actually demonstrate leadership tenets of saying that if there's a new person coming in, have I shown enough meat to help that person come up the curve? Have I been with the team in times of the need? And a lot of behavioral tenets that also were aligned. So our only blanket statement for all the team members was to look at the values and then try to think of a name and a face which resonates, and then vote for that person.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am actually a fan of such activities in a world where we only are living by the numbers, and people are suddenly just forgetting the human emotions, and that's why the team members also forget the company values. And this is one really very good initiative which can actually help out on both the parameters in terms of like giving that emotional support to the team members as well as imbibing those corporate values of the company very strongly. That's a wonderful exercise, Bhavish. And I'm going to steal many of the steps and many of the like the kind of process and the strategies that you guys have shared today. It's really amazing. So coming to our last round of questions. So now this is since we have actually talked about a lot of processes and strategies, I would want to explore the metrics, what kind of metrics that we could use, what kind of tools we could use. So I'll start with you, Shilpi. Is like when we talk about the employee engagement, now measuring the success of employee engagement is a kind of very tricky thing. So how do you measure the success of your employee engagement goals, and what are the key metrics that you track?
Okay, Kunal. So I think some of these metrics are actually not very quantitative, but on the quality of the kind of engagement that we are driving in the organization. Um, we have, as part of our culture, we have continuous conversation, and because of which, like what I was telling earlier, also that we run a lot of one-on-ones within the organization. So I ensure managers also are doing regular one-on-ones. I am doing, and we are getting to know basically whether the belongingness is intact, the morale of the employees is there, right? So belongingness, morale, and job satisfaction is measured through the regular one-on-ones and the pulse surveys that we are running, right? um, Now, secondly, what we also do is that each manager has a retention matrix as their KPI, as part of their KPI, which also is part of their appraisal annual review cycle. So they need to ensure that people who are high performing in the organization, high potential, um, you know, they have to retain, right? So every quarter we are actually measuring that, how good is the retention metrics of each manager, right? So yeah, these are some of the things that we are doing, plus the quarterly one-on-one, and measuring results of the surveys, also putting them across to the management, right? And due to all of these things, the overall eNPS, which is the employee net promoter score, once it came around 60, right? And we also won employees, startup which employees love award, right? So I think a regular, tracking of all these metrics is very, very important for you to get into those concrete results and overall, maintaining the employee engagement.
Yeah. So that's a wonderful way of approaching towards this particular problem statement. And yes, I mean, you very rightly said, Shilpi, the thing that you cannot measure, you can definitely never improve that. So measuring and analyzing whatever. So eNPS is. So what kind of tools are you using to measure those scores?
It actually varies. Like we were actually using Engage with earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I do that through a simple Google form as well, right? So, and because we know the formula of how to calculate, so it totally depends on what do you want to prefer using.
So you have that luxury.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great, great. So, Satyam, coming back to you, and so this would definitely be the last question that we have for today. And I'm going to ask the same question. This question is both for you, Satyam, and for Shilpa as well. So, Satyam, I would like to start with you. Now, since we are talking about multiple tools, strategies, and metrics, so what are your personal choice in terms of the tools or softwares to like that you utilize to measure employee performance and tracking the progress towards engagement goals?
Sure, Kunal. So, Kunal, I will be to be honest, I will be very frank over here. So, my journey was completely into a manual process. So, I used to have those spreadsheets, Google form, and we used to have, as Shilpi said, we used to have regular one-on-ones, and then engaging people into the having one-on-ones, then project the performance management with the managers. But yes, in my last company, from last 1 year, we started using, so there was a cool tool called Keka. So they had a very good and very practical approach to the performance management. So I was very happy with that. And in my current organization, we are working, though we don't have any process as of now in terms of tools, but we have one tool currently undergoing some demos. So it is called Award Co. So we are aligning that with our HRMS, and it is basically a reward and recognition program. So that is our plan basically. And yeah, so my belief is like definitely measuring performance management, also regular one-on-one checkings, and yes, there should be some rewarding as well. So we currently following a quarterly checkings with the employees, and we reward them as per their performance. And yes, so we do not have any platform as of now, but it is completely a manual process, but we are undergoing something which will happen. But yeah, Keka and Award Co would be my first choice for this.
Perfect, Satyam. So I completely resonate and agree with you that yes, tools are important, but more than the tool, it is actually how you implement and the kind of process that you follow. And
Nice.
sometimes even spreadsheets could be as good as even people using the tools, because if you don't have the right process, then over relying on tools will also not help you.
Correct, correct, Kunal.
That's perfect. So I'm just on a lighter note, Satyam. If you are actually still not unaware of most of the tools, we can help you out. We are one of those tools.
Sure, sure, Kunal.
So just on a lighter note. So yeah, so Shilpa, I would want to have this particular last question to you. The question is the same that was for Satyam. What are your tools or software that you utilize to measure the employee performance and tracking the progress towards engagement goals?
Okay, Kunal. Kunal, actually, as of now, we don't have any tools, but yes, we are using for the communication the Skype as well, and most probably we are encouraging for one-on-one meetings. That is our major fund as of now, we can say, because in the morning we have meets like the team meet and all. After completing of the task or project, we have meet that how we collaboratively include all the things that we have learned from this particular project and foster the culture as well, like the how positively we have worked out and all the stuff. But as per my perspective, I'm just going one-on-one meetings. Apart from that, the Google Docs, as Satyam and Shilpi also said, that is my fault as of now. Not specifically any tools I am using, just the communication tools like the Skype or Slack.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, Shilpa. So yes, of course, at the end of the day, it is human resource, and you can never take
Yes,
out the human factor out of that.
exactly.
Yes. So tools are there, of course, to empower and enable the team, enable HR partners. But then at the end of the day, it is, of course, the resilience and the fighting spirit of the HR teams who actually keep the teams going, who keep the motivation high, because of course no tool can actually replace the emotional quotient. So it was amazing speaking all of you with all of you, and like getting some real amazing insights. And as I told you, I'm going to steal many of the process and strategies that were shared here by you with your amazing experiences. So thanks to all the amazing speakers for sparing this precious 1 hour. And in fact, we are done 10 minutes before time itself. So thanks for the valuable 1 hour that you actually took it out, and for the entire community. Thanks for addressing all the questions from your listeners, sharing your experiences. And I'm pretty sure everyone, including me, are able to get some real good, useful, actionable insights, I should say. So, all the best with the great work that you all are doing to empower your teams and organizations. It was lovely speaking to all of you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kunal
Thank,
and
thank you.
team V360.
Thank you, Kunal and team.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks. So, okay. So, here's the final goodbye for today. All the amazing speakers and all the amazing listeners. See you all in our next episode of Productivity League. Signing off for now. Goodbye, everyone.